Thank you. First of all, I'll start with the glasses actually. I've only had these for the last couple of months, so I'm still struggling to get used to them. You find yourself losing them all the time and trying to read. Okay, first of all, a warm welcome to all our special guests, our local members, our local councillors, and also His Honour, Mr Strong, and also to our volunteers, in particular those who have served such an extraordinary amount of years, 30 years to the community. Can I also say our appreciation from the police in relation to the efforts of our Neighbourhood Watch volunteers and their commitment they have shown, in particular the last 12 months, to the Whitehorse community. Certificates of appreciation would also be given to others involved in their association and also assistance to the Whitehorse Police Service Area, which Beck Mellon will do informally throughout the evening. Also, I note one thing in relation to our statistics recently in relation to Whitehorse. Today I went through our statistics to actually identify any really good news I could actually provide our group tonight. And a couple of things that stuck out to me, and I'd like to share that with you. Over the last week or so, we have seen a number of crime categories reduce, which is quite pleasing to start with. We identified that during the week, last week we had around about 48 theft of motor cars. This week we've been reduced to about 28. This has been no doubt contributed to by the pamphlets and also the information provided by our Neighbourhood Watch volunteers who have attended through Whitehorse, where we've identified some hotspots and they've actually gone out and distributed this information to our community. It's quite concerning that a lot of our cars are broken into are by our offenders. However, they've been left open or unlocked, or they have property which is clearly displayed for the taking. So with the assistance of Neighbourhood Watch volunteers, we try and provide that information to the actual the community to say these are ways to prevent this. So over the last week and a half, over the last number of weeks, we've seen at least 6,000 pamphlets handed out by the volunteers, some of you here tonight, to provide that information to our community. And I have no doubt that contribution you provided has seen some of these significant reductions, so thank you very much. I also note from the information and intelligence I was given that, that we've also seen the reduction of theft of motor cars. As you probably appreciate, this is one of the areas of concern for our community. We've seen a significant increase in theft of motor cars over recent times. However, Whitehorse has experienced a decrease, and we look at our statistics from 17 last week down to 8 this week. And again, that information is also provided by our Neighbourhood Watch volunteers, and which is also duplicated in the actual pamphlets which are provided to theft from motor car, but also provides information in relation to residential burglaries. So if I could touch upon the next point, that we've seen a reduction of residential burglaries across the Whitehorse Police Service Area. If I use the word PSA, or the acronym PSA, it means the Police Service Area, which is the same as the local government area. So we've seen a significant decrease in our residential burglaries. In actual fact, we are probably one of the very few local area governments that has seen a decrease in residential burglaries over the last 12 months, which is totally against the state trend and also our local divisional trend, which is a real notable result. And again, thank you for those volunteers who actually do participate in those type of activities where we do distribute that information to our community. However, one point I would like to make mention is our retail burglaries, which is our commercial burglaries and also business premises, we've seen an increase. And there's a lot of work done behind the scenes with our detectives and also our uniform people trying to stem that particular crime category. And we're quite, I suppose, grateful that the assistance we've been from other police service areas and also by our detective and also other specialist groups. So we do believe we'll have that eventually under control. If I could just make one point in relation to Neighbourhood Watch, it's acknowledged the generous funding provided by Neighbourhood Watch to Whitehorse Police Service Area. There's been funding provided to our bicycle patrols. As you probably appreciate, our bicycle patrols wear particular clothing or a uniform, which is quite expensive. And Neighbourhood Watch locally has actually funded at least 4 full outfits for our uniform members. So if you see our police members riding bicycles around, there's a good chance they're being provided by Neighbourhood Watch locally. So thank you very much again for that. So to date we've at least, I think, 2 qualified in a course, which there must be an appropriate course which they do attend, and that's, again, the funding provided by Enable Watch has provided the uniforms for them to enable them to actually attend that course. An area which I'd like to touch upon is road trauma within the Whitehorse Police Service area. As you probably appreciate, with recent news that we've seen our road trauma, in particular our serious injury collisions, I'll go back one, our actual fatal collisions across the state has increased significantly by 20%. In Whitehorse Police Service area we've seen a static, we're basically the same number of fatalities which we have since the last 12 months. However, one notable highlight has been the reduction of serious injury collisions, which at this state is around about 20% reduction, which is really notable compared to other comparisons, whether it be state or whether it be divisionally. So we're doing really well in relation to our serious injury collisions. And again, a lot of it has been the work in the past by a lot of our volunteers providing information to our most vulnerable, our pedestrians in particular in Whitehorse, where we have a significant number of elderly pedestrians involved in serious injury collisions or fatalities. So in the past there's been a lot of work done by Neighbourhood Watch, and again, can I just express my appreciation for your assistance. I actually went through our statistics and did comparisons with basically a large number of metropolitan local area governments and also country LGAs. And Whitehorse Police Service area or Whitehorse Council area is probably one of the safest places to work and live. I looked at the actual per 100,000 of person injury, which is your assaults, those type of crimes, and we are one of the lowest in the state, even in comparison to some of our country areas. So that is something which we hear a lot of fear and concern in our community, but we're very lucky in Whitehorse. We have probably one of the better areas in relation to our crime reduction and also our crime incidents. So I know we hear a lot of news in relation to the serious crimes which we do hear over our media, but in general terms, Whitehorse is actually a very safe place to live. So if I can assure you that in relation to that, and quite notably, it's better than a lot of our country areas, as I alluded to. So again, because I get asked that question many, many times over, but it is actually quite dramatic, the actual statistics. Can I just probably refer to some of the notable things which occurred within the Whitehorse Police Service area over the last 12 months, and one of the things I was going to mention is the commissioning of the new Forest Hill Police Station in Springvale Road. We have a new station which was opened around this time 12 months ago, and we at the same time saw the Nunawading Police Station, our members transfer holus bolus from one location to the new state-of-the-art location, and at the same time the Nunawading Police Complex is now being utilised for the accommodation of our our protective service officers. We've got about 150 located there, plus we also have our highway patrol. So that police station is now used for accommodation of up to 150 PSOs, plus also up to about 50 highway patrol experts. So that location is still being utilised by police, but doesn't provide a front counter. We have a new front counter at the police station at Forest Hill, which is accessible 24 hours a day. So we've also seen the actual commissioning of a number of task forces across our police service area with the issue of vehicle crime, in particular theft from motorcars and theft of motorcars. We've established a number of strike task forces to deal with that specifically in relation to vehicle crime, and we've seen significant excellent results over the last number of months, and that will continue. I just wanted to give you a sort of an update as to where Whitehorse PSA or Police Service area sits, and I'm happy to take any questions if I haven't covered the points you would like to raise. Feel free to do so. But if I can just finish up before we go to questions, in relation to my appreciation to our committed and dedicated Neighbourhood Watch volunteers. I know there'll be a number of them which will be receiving certificates, but there's a significant number of people who have been within Neighbourhood Watch and actively provide the community and also the police that support. Quite often I speak to our crime prevention officer who's here tonight, Beck Miller, in relation to, if we didn't have your support, there is no way known we could distribute 6,000 or more information pamphlets which cover a various crimes, whether it be theft from motor cars, burglaries, and we target that information at the right time, at the right location, to provide the community with that knowledge and that awareness. So with the Assistance Neighbourhood Watch, it is actually a very, very effective way to get that communication out to that to the community, to provide them with the ability to prevent that crime or them becoming victims in that particular crime category. So if I can say my appreciation on behalf of myself as a local area commander, Beck Millen, who's our crime prevention officer, and also the policing community from Whitehorse, thank you very much for your support and your dedication throughout the year. So I'm happy to take any questions if there's any. One at a time, please. If there's no other questions, oh, there's always one.
Inspector Neville Malden.
Hello, Neville, how are you? Yes, sorry, how are you?
We know each other.
We do.
I saw on the news that there was CCTV being used in service stations to identify number plates where that particular driver might have driven off and without paying. Do you have any comment on that?
Neville, you're correct. I think all the major petrol companies, whether it be Shell, and I also believe their competitors all use a number plate recognition, and they actually, every vehicle that pulls into those service stations gets their number plate photographed, and which is a great tool for us when we're actually investigating other crimes, because quite often there might be a crime, there's a registration number taken somewhere else. We can then utilise that, and we actually contact these companies and say, have you had this vehicle perform a drive-off or in actual fact commit any other crime? And they'll bring up the actual photo of the vehicle, and quite often that provides us with a photo of the driver as well. So that gives us an avenue of inquiry, which is really supportive of us in relation to trying to apprehend that particular person. So rather than just a report, we can actually then put a person and a photo to that vehicle, which then really assists in relation to solving that crime. So, yeah, thanks for your question, Neville. Any other questions at all? Hello, how are you? Hello, Sue. It's been a while.
I was just wondering if CCTV is so effective in service stations, would it be a good idea to be getting more into retail areas and say there's been an increase in or is it already being used in retail areas as well?
Oh, it definitely is. Most large shopping centres do have CCTV, but we're also fortunate within Whitehorse. We have a number of areas which has got CCTV, which has been provided by local government and also state government funding. You'll probably see Box Hill Mall. There's a significant number of cameras which are actually throughout that location, which we actually have access to. We actually can view live from our police station. And also previously Britannia Mall and those areas had CCTV, which we had enabled us to actually get that CCTV footage if there was any offences or any incidents which we need to investigate. So, but there is most major retailers and most major retail locations do have CCTV. It is surprising the spread of CCTV through our everyday lives, and as they have suggested, generally at least one or two cameras if you walk around, whether it be Melbourne as in the city or through major locations, shopping centres, you probably get your image taken at least once, if not many, many other times through a 24-hour period. So it's actually a great tool for us, and again, there's a lot of regulations and also for us as police to use that footage, we have to be very, very careful in relation to how we release it and also how we manage it. So any other questions? Yes?
Inspector, do the police have any statistics to indicate whether the installation of alarms or video surveillance equipment in houses has any effect on the reduction of break-ins to those properties?
I couldn't probably give you the stats in relation to the prevention. However, there's no doubt an offender or a prospective burglar sees quite often we see the old blue boxes or the blue alarm. Some of those are just props, but in relation to if there's a house and they can see there's an actual alarm attached, they will go to the next house. There is no doubt. They actually look for those particular, they just what they call as reconnaissance or recce. They'll actually do reconnaissance on houses and find the weak house. So if you've got a house which has got CCTV or alarms, they will probably most likely go to the next house. but even in relation to CCTV, quite often you'll see on the news footage of offenders in homes, and quite often we're appealing for that assistance. And that is quite an effective way we actually identify offenders. Quite often we know the time, the date, the details, but we just don't know who the person is. Once we've got that footage, we can provide it out to the media once we've gone through the appropriate processes, and quite often within hours we'll get a phone call saying, we've identified this person. Even recently, a police information came to me, and we basically get everyday media release or a release of all our offenders which we don't know. And I go, hang on, that's such and such. I make a phone call because I know him locally because I've dealt with him many years ago. And I identified people within minutes. Once it's actually released, it is a great process and it's a great tool to identify people. You see whether it be Crime Stoppers, they're all very, very active and very, very good means to actually identify offenders. It's a great for us, a way to solve crimes. So any other questions? Oh,
Well, there seems to be a lot of, in recent days, of police cars being ran. Is there anything that the officers can do to protect themselves? Is there some back-off system, or I know that it just comes out of the blue, but somebody's going to get killed before very long if it continues?
It is no doubt a concern for our police command and also for local members, as you probably appreciate. We've had a number over the last number of days in particular, but over the last 12 months we've seen a significant number of police vehicles involved in rammings. There is a number of meetings, I'm aware of meetings tomorrow to actually bring a number of operatives and also supervisors and those who have got experience in that particular area together to start discussing what can we do to prevent and also to mitigate against those particular issues. In recent times we've seen a number of offenders, and they're quite often trying to escape from police, but we've actually constantly drumming to our members safety first, and that's one of our, again, we call it a cliche, but it's actually our philosophy. We've got to look after ourselves first before we can actually apprehend someone else. So there's always risk assessment done, and quite often, unfortunately, the offenders don't do the same risk assessment. But our members are well and truly told over and over again their personal welfare, their personal health is important, and don't put yourself at risk for the sake of an offender. There's processes we'll get in later on. Don't put your life at risk because you're no good to your family, to the organisation or the community, seriously injured or killed. So, but there is a number of processes in place, and we're actually exploring what can we do, whether it be different type of vehicles for us or different types of tactics. And we're going to look at it because it appears to be an ongoing issue for us at the moment. I know that our Deputy Commissioner, Andrew Crisp, is quite concerned, and he's actually asked for a lot of information from the operatives and those members on the ground, what they can do or what can our management do to prevent this as well. So thanks for your question. Thank you very much. Again.